Welcome back to the cooking channel. If this is your first time, thanks for clicking on my site. And welcome back all those that have viewed me before. If you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, and give me a thumbs up. Today we're going to talk about types of knives, and I'm going to talk about cutting boards, what the best type of cutting board is to use with the type of knives that you're using. The first knives I'm going to talk about today are specialty knives. And the first one is, if you're having a party and you want to serve cheese, you got to have one of these. It's got the cutouts here so that it doesn't create a suction when you're cutting the cheese. Cheese is sticky, and these cutouts allow the cheese to separate as you're cutting it. Also, you got a fork on the end that you can pick the cheese up and transfer it to a plate. And because cheese comes in all different formats, soft, hard, the serrated type of knife or cheese knife is the best to go with. The second specialty knife I'm going to talk about is a boning knife. And if you look at this knife, it's got a very thick spline, and this knife is designed to break apart, let's say, a chicken or chicken wings. And if you look at this knife, you can see, that it's curved, it's very ergonomically fit, and it's easy to get in and work the bones when you're breaking down a chicken. This is the third knife that I'm talking about, and this is a serrated chef knife. There are types of vegetables out there, as an example, tomatoes, bell peppers. They have a very shiny skin, and when you're using a straight blade, it sometimes wants to slide on it. Or you can be cutting, and you get through about 6 slices, and then it'll stop cutting. So my recommendation is, when you're doing a lot of tomato breakdown or bell pepper breakdown, making a vegetable plate, or preparing tomatoes for, let's say, a sauce, a serrated chef knife is the way to go. Now, if you're getting into heavy duty breaking down of large meat, you need a cleaver. These weigh probably 2 pounds, and they're designed to take a good force to go through and even break through bones. Every kitchen should have one of these. You probably won't use it a lot, but when you need it, you'll be very glad you have it. I'm now going to talk about the standard knives. And trust me, there are way more knives available to you than what I'm going to show you. But these are the basic and knives I prefer and say, yeah, these should be in your drawer. The first knife I'm going to talk about is a paring knife. What is a paring knife? It's pretty much as it describes. It's made to peel and to break down section oranges or section citrus fruit, even grapefruits, peel potatoes. It's a very handy knife to use. The next up in the scale is what they call a utility knife. This is a favorite of mine. I use this for breaking down broccoli, cauliflower, and it works great for chopping up celery and other vegetables like radishes, and one of the handiest knives to have in your drawer. I'm a pro chef knife. This works great for prepping all kinds of meats, larger vegetables. Basically, this is your main cooking knife. This is a 6-inch chef, which I prefer. I have small hands, and I feel more comfortable yielding a 6-inch chef knife. There's a couple knives that are produced in the Japanese tradition, Sadoku, and this is a 6-inch and this is an 8-inch. The thing I like about the 8-inch, it kind of almost falls in the same territory as the 6-inch, but you don't have to deal with this point. It's cut straight across, and it makes it easy when you're trying to cut through and make straight cuts and not have to rock or slide. The last knife I'm going to talk about is probably every professional chef has one of these at his hands at all time. This is your American 8-inch chef knife. Now I say American, this one's actually made by Shun, which is a high value knife manufacturer. I had one viewer said, hey, if you could talk a little bit about knives, what they cost. If you get a high quality, well, we'll say mid quality if you're really looking at the whole world, but a knife like this made by Shun, which is about 64 layers of steel alternating between hard and soft, this knife runs around $250. As well as this is a Shun, and this one runs close to $200. The Fury, smaller Sadoku, this runs about $125. And the 6-inch Chef, you're looking at, you can get a cheaper one for $50, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would say anytime you're buying a knife, you want to spend somewhere in the $100 to $150 range. A utility knife is probably going to run you right around $100. Again, to keep sharpness, I definitely recommend layered steel. The rest of these knives are all over the place. You can get a decent cleaver for under $100. And a serrated knife, $50 will get you a decent knife. Believe it or not, boning knives are very affordable, and they usually run around $35 to $70. And you can get one of these cheese knives probably for under $25. Now, all of these knives have a blade, and they have to be hold the edge. When you're cutting and chopping, what happens, because the blade is so thin, you distort it. So to restore the straightness of the blade, you need a honing steel. This isn't necessarily sharpening, but this is readjusting and straightening the blade. And when you do that, a Japanese knife usually cuts around 15 degrees, and an American knife is around 20 degrees. So if you start your knife out, here you're at 90, 45, and here is about 22. And you pull these towards you, and you can alternate sides like this. How many times do you have to do it? Run your finger. If you can feel your fingerprint on the knife, you know that you've restored the edge. Some people do it this way. Some people are afraid to pull the knife towards them, so they'll go this way. These have a guard on it, and I think you have better control pulling it towards you and alternating. You want to be careful you don't hit the face of your knife because you'll hurt the finish. So that 22-degree angle, and just pull it towards you. Now what I've done is I have straightened out the cutting surface of that blade. The last thing I want to talk about is cutting boards. There's glass cutting boards out there. Stay away from them. They ruin your knife edge. Glass is extremely hard. It's, you're getting close to diamond territory. So glass will actually ruin and flatten your blade. What I recommend is what I've got underneath here is wood or plastic. Some people prefer plastic. It's easier to clean and it's not as porous as wood. And when you use wood, you want to make sure that it's not finished, and that if you want to coat it, you can put mineral oil, which doesn't break down or go rancid. The next thing I want to talk about is the surfaces. A lot of people don't understand how boards are made, but I like this type of board. It has rubber edges that flare out a little bit. Why? It won't slip when you're cutting it. So if you're on this board, it's not going to slide around. You have two surfaces on a cutting board. You have a flat surface, and this is used for non-juicy stuff. For example, you might want to cut celery, radishes, potatoes. And, let's call this the fruit and vegetable. Flip it over. There's a side that has channeling and a pooling area. I guess you can guess what it's for, but this is for juicy stuff, typically meats. So what I try to do is to keep it non-contaminated. I use the groove side of the cutting board to usually prep my meats, and I use the flat side to prep my vegetables. If you'd like to hear or make a recommendation on some other things that you would like to know on cooking, then leave a comment down below. My next video, I'm going to be talking about mandolins and alternates to mandolins. So thank you for watching. Again, if you're interested, give me a thumbs up, a subscribe, and ring the bell. Thanks for watching.